Hello, and welcome to another episode where we explore the stories of the most influential and controversial figures in the world of finance, business, and wealth. Today, we are going to dive into the astonishing tale of Jho Low, the mastermind behind one of the most audacious financial heists in history. How did a young and unknown Malaysian businessman manage to steal billions of dollars from his own country's investment fund and spend it on a lavish lifestyle that included parties, celebrities, and movies? How did he evade justice for so long? And where is he now? Stay tuned as we unravel the intricate web of deception, corruption, and intrigue that surrounds the man who robbed an entire country. Chapter 1. The Jho Low Origin Story. Jho Low, born on 4th November 1981 in Penang, Malaysia, came from a rich family which did business involving clothing and property. He joined the famous Harrow School situated in London, from where he became friends with Riza Aziz, who was Najib Razak's stepson, later to be the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Upon graduation, Jho Low went to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, where he was known as a socialite and networker who met influential people from different walks of life. Upon finishing his studies in 2005, Jho Low returned to Malaysia and established an investment company that had his family's support and funding named Winton Group. Besides that, he engaged himself in several projects and transactions that were connected with the Malaysian government or state-owned companies such as the Iskandar Development Region, which is a mega project intended to transform the southernmost point of Malaysia into the new economic hub. Jho Low could win over both public officials and businessmen through his personal magnetism, talkativeness, or charm, thus finding a way towards inner circles of influence and affluence not only within but also outside the country. Chapter 2. The First Heist. It happened in 2009, when Jho Low was provided with an opportunity to commit a heist. The Malaysian government recently introduced a new type of sovereign wealth fund named One Malaysia Development Berhad, whose key objective was to improve the country's economic performance and attract investment from abroad. However, he used his close ties with Prime Minister Najib Razak and his wife Rosmah Mansor, whom he met while they were still campaigning during the elections, to become an unofficial advisor and intermediary for the fund without holding any official position within it. He further invited Riza Aziz, his former colleague who had turned into a Hollywood producer, to be part of the scheme. The plan made by Jho Low was quite simple. It involved using his powers and accessing over $1 million funds in order to steal money together with his partners through a series of complex and fraudulent transactions, such as involving shell corporations, offshore accounts, and false contracts. Afterward, he would utilize these funds stolen in order to finance a luxurious life, as well as bribe others who also assisted him or kept quiet about him. Furthermore, siphoning off more money to buy influence and legitimacy on the international stage by investing in high-profile projects and ventures like hotels, casinos, art, movies, etc. Among the earliest and largest deals that were supervised by Jho Low was the collaboration between One Med and PetroSaudi, a Saudi Arabian oil company, in 2009. In this deal, One Med would invest $1 billion in PetroSaudi's oil exploration projects for a 40% stake in the joint venture. However, Jho Low secretly projected to divert $700 million of that $1 billion into a Goodstar Swiss bank account controlled by him. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, it was the first transfer of many that ultimately resulted in more than $4.5 billion stolen from one NDB by Jho Low and other conspirators. Chapter 3. The Asian Wolf of Wall Street. Jho Low then went on a shopping spree with his new fortune as if he had no other cares. Like some wealthy men, he purchased multi-million-dollar luxury properties in New York, London, Los Angeles, and Hong Kong. Others included private aircraft collections, yachts, and motor vehicles such as Equanimity, which cost around $250 million. These are equipped with helipads, spas, cinemas, and swimming pools. He equally collected artwork, jewelry, and timepieces worth tens of millions of dollars, including a $27.3 million pink diamond necklace that he gifted to Rosmah Mansor, the wife of the Prime Minister. However, it was his parties that earned Jho Low the most condemnation, and were the most flamboyant. He threw lavish parties across the globe where he invited celebrities, models, and influencers to his parties. For what he did, millions of dollars went into buying champagne, caviar, fireworks, and having fun. Indeed, he would hire famous musicians such as Britney Spears, Kanye West, and Alicia Keys to perform for him and his guests. In addition to that, Jho also developed friendships with some of Hollywood's greatest stars, including Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Jamie Foxx, and Paris Hilton, whom he gave presents and made contributions on their behalf besides inviting to his occasions. In 2012, during his 31st birthday in Las Vegas, coinciding with the premiere of The Wolf of Wall Street, a movie produced by Red Granite Pictures, a production company belonging to Reza Aziz, which had been financed by Jho Low. This film starred Leonardo DiCaprio and was directed by Martin Scorsese. It is based on the true story of Jordan Belfort, who defrauded investors out of millions in an extravagant lifestyle whose main thing was debauchery. Ironically, the movie was partly funded by the money that Jho Low had stolen from 1MDB, making him the real-life Asian Wolf of Wall Street. Jho Low booked out the whole top floor of the Palazzo Hotel and invited over 600 guests, including DiCaprio, De Niro, Fox, Hilton, and Kim Kardashian. The party cost him more than $10 million, and it featured a large cake shaped like a yacht. Psy Performance, who is the Korean rapper behind the viral hit Gangnam Style, and Kanye West, who made Happy Birthday for Jho Low. Picasso's painting worth $3.2 million, and Basquiat's painting, which was estimated at $9.2 million, were also given to DiCaprio by Jho Low as presents, but had to be handed over later on to police during the investigation of the 1MD scandal. Chapter 4. Goldman Sachs. Jho Low was enjoying his ill-gotten gains as he also planned other deals to hide his tracks and get more money from 1MD. Goldman Sachs, the big name in banking, was one of Low's main accomplices. This bank participated in 3 bond offerings that raised over $6 billion for 1MD in 2012 and 2013. The said bond offerings were aimed at financing various projects for 1MD, including a new financial district called Tun Razak Exchange located in Kuala Lumpur, and a new urban development project named Bandar Malaysia. Regrettably, most of the funds were siphoned into Jho Low's personal accounts through sham receipts, fake documents, and inflated charges. Goldman Sachs earned above $600 million from fees collected through these bonds. It was accused of being an accessory and negligent during the whole 1MD case concerning lack of carrying out appropriate due diligence exercises regarding fraudulence indicators or signs which it ignored completely. Some people directly associated with the firm engaged themselves in the scandal, such as Tim Leissner, the culprit, who was Southeast Asia's former chairman, admitted to having conspired to launder money and break the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act.
So I was very eager to see this practice stopped and ran into a hornet's nest because a lot of the leading commercial organizations in our country, corporations, claimed that they couldn't sell in competition with the French and British and others overseas if they didn't bribe officials who were in charge of making the purchases of weapons and other goods.
And Roger Ng, formerly a managing director, was returned to the US for similar offenses. In the end, Goldman Sachs agreed to pay a total of over $5 billion in penalties and settlements to various bodies and regulators around the world, including Malaysia, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Chapter 5. The Breakdown of an Empire. The empire of Jho Low started coming down in 2015 when the Wall Street Journal ran an explosive series of reports that exposed Jho Low's participation in the 1MD scandal. The revelations contained in these reports, which were based on whistleblowers' accounts, as well as leaked documents, showed how billions of dollars were siphoned off from 1MD by Jho Low himself and his partners. It also shows how they utilized this fund in leading luxurious lives, such as throwing extravagant parties with lots of expensive drinks and beautiful women all over their necks. The investigations also showed that Najib Razak, together with his wife Rosma Mansur, also benefited from this huge embezzlement case where it is alleged that they had over $680 million paid into her account alone, which she said was a donation given by some Saudi royal family member. The revelations provoke a global investigation by several countries, including the US, Switzerland, Singapore, and the FBI. This led to a big public outcry and a political crisis in Malaysia. Jho Low hid himself in various places such as Thailand, China, and the United Arab Emirates after becoming one of the most wanted fugitives internationally. He also hired lawyers, lobbyists, and PR firms to defend him and malign these allegations, arguing that he had been victimized by politics and a media witch hunt. His book, which was titled The Billion-Dollar Whale, was another attempt to clear his name by denying misconduct while portraying himself as an innovative entrepreneur and philanthropist. Despite his attempts to elude justice while salvaging his reputation continued fruitlessly, with more evidence surfacing that exposed his criminal activities as well as corruption through witnesses' accounts. In exchange for leniency or immunity, some former close associates like Riza Aziz, Tim Leisner, or Roger Ng admitted guilt or participated with law enforcement agencies. Some of these assets were forfeited or confiscated by governments and organizations pursuing Equanimity Act, Basquiat's paintings, Picasso, and Wolf of Wall Street movie rights, among others, were seized or forfeited by the governments and agencies that pursued him. Several of his friends and allies, such as Najib Razak and Rasma Mansur, were ousted from power and charged with multiple counts of abuse of power, criminal breach of trust, and money laundering. Chapter 6. The Hunt for Jho Low. Jho Low is still on the run today, and his exact location remains a mystery. Supposedly, he is hiding in China, where he has connections and protection from some powerful and influential persons. He is said to have changed his looks through plastic surgery and identity to avoid detection or capture. He has an arrest warrant or red notice against him in several countries and agencies, including Malaysia, Singapore, and Interpol. He also happens to be facing many lawsuits and charges by a number of entities like Goldman Sachs, MIB, U.S. Department of Justice that are seeking compensation. Jho Low's case is among the most extraordinary instances of white-collar crime as well as financial fraud in history. It still remains one of the hardest cases to investigate as well as try due to the vastness, magnitude, or complexity of this scheme involving multiple actors, jurisdictions, as well as interests. The story of Jho Low is one that pertains not only to greediness and deception, but also to power-influenced cultural impunity. It is a story that raises many questions and issues, such as the accountability and transparency of governments and institutions, the regulation and oversight of financial markets and systems, and the ethics and responsibility of individuals and corporations. Thank you for watching this episode, where we explored the story of Jho Low, the man who robbed an entire country. We hope you enjoyed and learned something from this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified of our latest uploads. Also, let us know in the comments section below. What are your thoughts and opinions on Jho Low and the MIB scandal? Do you think he will ever be caught and brought to justice? What do you think should be done to prevent such cases from happening again in the future? We would love to hear from you. Until next time, sign off.